Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chaps. This, as you can tell, is an in-person interview with Mr. Lukas Jensen. Lukas, how you doing, mate?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Good. No, thank you for coming on. Just tell us then, how is the injury progressing?
Really well. I'm in a really good place at the moment. I think the recovery is going better than expected. And I'm just progressing day by day, and I can finally see the light from the end of the tunnel.
And I believe you're back on the grass now, is that right?
I'm indeed. I'm back on the grass, having boots and gloves on, and playing a little bit of football.
I suppose that's what's been your aim, right? To just get back out there on the grass playing football. How has it been for you? Because I can't imagine what it must be like as a professional footballer. Obviously, being a number one at a championship club, and you can't, you're sitting at home, you can't do much. How has that been for you?
In all honesty, it hasn't been easy. Once the injury happened, I just thought, why happened to me? Why not someone else? But once then first, I would say 1-2 months was passed over. I tried to see the positive in everything, and I've actually got a lot of stuff out of my injury, and I've learned new things about myself. So it's probably been a good thing the injury happened, even though it sounds a little bit silly saying it, because an injury never happens at a good time, and it certainly didn't happen at a good time last year because we're in a really good spot in team, like pushing for playoff, and I would love to play them last 4 games and see where it could have taken us. But like from a personal perspective, I think it's been really good the injury happened, because I've learned so many things about myself.
Amazing. Would you mind sharing just maybe one of those things that you've learned?
Well, it's just what the important things are in life, that not everything is about football. So I came to England in a young age, around 19, 20 years old, and everything for me in my day-to-day life was football. I was trying to see how far I could go, and I've never really had that, time off in terms of to think, okay, what is important? But this time I had. So I've just realized, okay, what's important in my life now.
Amazing. And just if you don't mind, tell us a little bit more about what the injury was. I know it's to do with your Achilles, but maybe just tell us a little bit about what it was.
So I had a full rupture in my Achilles, which means your calf and heel is disconnected. So that means you can't really move your ankle anymore, or at least you can't go up and single leg heel raise, or you can't push off or anything. So that needs surgery reattached, and it's a long process. And I know many athletes are afraid of this happening to them, but again, I just saw the positive in it. I saw it as a challenge of how quick can I get back, and what can I do to my body for it to heal quicker, and see can I be quicker in terms of rehab than what the surgeon says. And so far I've done that, so it's going quicker than expected.
Can you give us a rough timeline of when you think you'll be back and available for selection?
You're putting me on the spot here.
Just rough.
Rough. If I can be ready for team selection around Christmas time, or at least early January, I'll be very happy. And that's quicker than what the surgeon says. But as I said, I'm in a really good spot. So without people thinking too much into it, I think I'll be out there quicker than expected.
Well, I think obviously we've been blessed. We've got obviously Stephen Bender's come in on loan. We've got Max Crocombe, Joel Coleman as well. So lots of goalkeepers. But you were our number one, and I'm sure in your mind you want to make sure that you get back into that number one spot. How does that come into your thinking? Because Stephen's obviously had a decent start to his career. How do you think about making sure that number one spot is yours again?
Well, being a goalkeeper is obviously not easy, and because there's only one playing, so you got to be bang on once you get the chance. And as you said, there's been 3 good keepers now, and then we even got George Evans as well, which is a really good project, and I think he's really good as well. So I got to get my shirt back, and that just means be better in every scenario, be better in training, be better once I get my chance, and then show the manager that this is my shirt, and I need to take it back, and I will take it back as well.
Love the confidence. And what I will say is I obviously been a Millwall fan. I felt that you really grew into the number one position last season. I felt at the start, which is absolutely normal, I think, for a goalkeeper and a defence, sussing each other out. But I think towards the back end of last season, before you got injured, I thought you were phenomenal. So really looking forward to seeing you back out there on the grass. And George Evans, fantastic when he came in. But, what could have been if you were in goal for those 4 games. But
that's what I'm thinking as well. It's always what could have been. And I still think about it to this day, that them 4 games could have changed a lot for Millwall if we got into that playoff, and just the amount of support we do have for them games as well, because I believe Millwall is a very difficult team to beat, especially when we get the fans behind us, and not really any fan base can be compared to it. So again, I'm always thinking what could have been, but we'll just do the same this year.
Yeah, well, we're sitting with the 2 points off second place, right, as we go into it. So lots of great players to come back as well, which I think is really important. Just last question on your injury. Obviously, with being an Achilles, and you touched on this in terms of being able to push off and stuff.
Yeah.
How does that go into? Because obviously, pushing off is a big part of being a goalkeeper. How do you think about that in terms of the injury and how you may have to adapt your game or training that you've had to do to kind of compensate for that?
Well, luckily, I've had some really good people around me when it comes to that, so that shouldn't be a big drop off when you're talking about push, because to put some numbers on the board, like my jump height before my injury, I can jump the same now. So it's not because I've lost anything in terms of
Amazing.
So that just means my recovery is going so well, and I've had a really good surgeon to do it and really good people to do my rehab. So I don't think I have to compensate in any way. It just takes time to get back to it and get it as strong as you can.
Yeah.
So I believe over time, I don't think you'll see there's any drop off in any part of my game.
Amazing. That's really good to hear. And obviously we had Dean Fulton come into the club in the summer.
Yeah.
What's it been like working with him?
So Dean is a very modern goalkeeping coach, and I think he suits my goalkeeping area really well. I'm obviously going back to my 2 previous years. I had a really good year at Lincoln before I came to Millwall, and that was kind of that same, goalkeeping style in terms of being modern, being on your front foot. Loads of 1v1s or split saves, and I think that's what Dean gives as well. But again, not taking anything away from any Marshall we had last year, because he changed my game and being a lot more clean in every scenario, being focused on clean handling. So I think I'm just trying to take every small parts from everyone and then bring it into my game. So I wouldn't have been without any of it. But I think Dean is someone that can take my goalkeeping to the new level, especially from what we've spoken about in terms of playing and training.
Amazing. So it feels like a nice progression, I guess, from that. And then finally on Millwall topics before we talk about why we're here today. I actually interviewed Lincoln fans when we were signing you. And I quote the Lincoln fan said, he will go on to represent his country one day. So everyone's got a lot of high hopes for you, and I'm sure that's a goal for you personally. But just tell us, what have you, now you've been at Millwall for almost a year? Just over a year, sorry. What have you learned about the club? What does now, maybe what you didn't know before coming in, that you've now seen and learned about Millwall?
Yeah, so I think everyone, when they hear the name Millwall, have their own thoughts about what the club is, and what's it been in the past as well. But that's so far from what I've experienced. I think I learned the most about Millwall Football Club when I got injured, in terms of how the fan base are, that they're really caring. The amount of text I've had from everyone associated with Millwall really warms my heart, in terms of how they're greeting me, and then just saying they're looking forward to see me back on the pitch. And I didn't think from my first impression that was going to happen, but now I realized that Millwall is a family club and they care about everyone, and I think people need to see that for themselves, because Millwall is a really good club and probably the best club I've ever been at.
Amazing. That's really good to hear, because we know sometimes we come with a certain reputation, and some of that we like. I'll be honest, we like to be difficult to beat and to be intimidating, but of course it has a line that and sometimes people don't see the family element, as you alluded to.
Definitely.
So we're all looking forward to seeing you back out there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
So we're here today, though, for an event essentially surrounding all about prostate cancer. Tell us a little bit about why that particular charity is important to your heart.
So 3 years ago, I got a phone call from my parents where they said they had some news for me, and I actually thought it was good news, but it turned out to be a rather difficult night. So my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer 3 years ago, and it wasn't what I thought he was going to tell me, but it was caught early on. So he's clear now, and he went into treatment very early on, which helped, because the earlier you catch it, the more success rate you have of being clear. But again, it was a difficult night for me, because sitting in a different country, being out of your own hands, you can't really do much. And what should I do? I'm just here to play football, but I've got someone back home that's really ill. But my dad and my mom was really open about speaking about it, which helped my mental stage in that point.
And I'm really sorry to hear that. I do understand though that your dad is fully clear of it now, which is fantastic. Touch wood, great news. Based on that and the fact that it was caught early, what message do you have to Millwall fans listening to this and any person listening to this in terms of how important it is to get checked and to do these sorts of things?
Don't be afraid of getting checked. Be checked once too many. Like if you feel you have something, just get checked for safety reasons. Speak openly about it, and the more emphasize or the more interest we can put on this topic, I think it will help a lot more people.
And we've obviously got Prostate United, which I believe is October, right? Yep. Which is around walk, run, cycle, or anything. You know, any message to the fans listening to this in terms of getting them to be involved in that?
Well, come down and join it. Like again, the more people we can get down to it, the better. So if we can get loads of people down there, I'll be very happy.
Amazing. Well, we'll put the link in the description to this. Lukas, it's been an absolute pleasure to have this quick conversation with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And we look forward to seeing you back on the pitch very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lukas.